Hello, I'm Nicole Danielle.
And I'm Meghan Lee, and this is Romance on the Rocks, where two bookish biddies imbibe and talk about the piratey romance novels that they have been reading for Arr-gust.
I'm so excited for this.
I was excited. I can claim to be excited anymore.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Guys, I'm so sorry. This was a rough one for me.
Well, let's start off with the most important part of the episode, the beverages.
Absolutely. I invented one. I really racked my brain on this one. Unfortunately, according to the internet, there is no cocktail called the Angry Pirate. There's nothing called the Assaultive Pirate. There's nothing called Hate You Pirate. There's nothing called
Worst pirate ever.
Garbage Books Are Us. There was nothing like that. So the closest I could get with the ingredients in my house, I found a cocktail that's called Angry Balls. That cocktail is basically just Fireball put into an Angry Orchard cider. I do not have Angry Orchard cider at my house, but I don't need to make an Angry Balls. I want to make an Angry Ahoy. So I went ahead and made some apple cider tea and chilled that and then added the Fireball to that. And because my characters in the book are on one side a pirate and on the other side an English captain, I figured tea and then the angry, we're good here. So it's actually pretty good. I can say if you like cinnamon and cider, it's nice.
Okay. Well,
better than I can say for my book.
I felt it was appropriate to go completely piratey and have classic grog, because I've never drank grog before. But, you know, it's important to fight off scurvy at all times. So,
love it.
So, give it a shake in my old mason jar.
So what's all in grog?
So it is aged rum. I have some Bacardi Añejo, and then it is water and lime juice and a little brown sugar.
Very nice.
She smells potent. She smells like a pirate. Woo! Okay. And then, Meghan, I got this little mermaid mug with you in Dora County, and I figured pirates would probably be drinking their grog in a mug.
Absolutely.
And what better than a little Dora County mermaid mug?
Very nice.
There we go.
Well, cheers.
Oh, well, that's special.
Well, I'll say apple cider tea with the Fireball over ice. It's really quite nice.
Okay. I can't say I'll be drinking grog ever again.
First and last time for everything.
Yep. Well, I believe I'm up first. I read Poppy and the Pirate by Elizabeth Cole. Show notes. Okay. This was published in 2022. It is part of a series, but I'm pretty sure all the books are standalone books. I don't think you have to necessarily read them in order, because I did not. It is in the subgenre of romance of the historical romance novel variation. Main characters are Poppy St. George, a young Englishwoman who's quite the spitfire, but known as a wallflower, because her and her friends are all considered wallflowers. Her stepfather is a textiles merchant, so while Poppy lives a comfortable lifestyle, she's not necessarily marriage material, and she failed to make a marriage match during her first season out in London society. Additionally, almost all of her childhood friends are happily married at this point, so it's just Poppy. Then we have Carlos de la Guerra, a captain of a ship. He deals in commerce and trade and is somewhat of a pirate in that he prefers to avoid some tariffs and taxes on goods he carries on his ships, but he's not a full-blown pirate, as one might envision, because he is accepted in society and upper social circles and is considered a viable husband amongst society members. It's more like he's technically a pirate versus an actual pirate.
Mm-hmm.
The plot line, Poppy and Carlos met during the London season about a year ago, and they hit it off pretty well. Their respective besties ended up marrying, so that seems like it would lend itself towards a promising relationship for the two of them. But, alas, Carlos was called back home to Santo Domingo, which we now know as the Dominican Republic, and ended up not coming back to Britain for a year. He never wrote to Poppy or sent any word to her via his best friend, so all she can assume is he led her on and wasn't really interested in her. But she's still been secretly crushing on him anyway for the past year, even though she's pissed about what happened. Well, she's feeling lonely without her friends, and it's common to head to the countryside in the summer. So Poppy goes to stay with one of her mom's friends out on the Cornish coast. And of course, who happens to be there but Carlos? He's also staying there, but for entirely different reasons. He's trying to find out who murdered one of his best friends and why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So sparks fly, of course, and the rest of the book involves a fun romp of enemies to lovers as Poppy and Carlos try to solve the murder and uncover a whole mess of a smuggling ring, including an opium thing, and it was quite shocking. There were some nice little twists and turns and just enough spice later on in the story to please me. And that's all I can say about the book.
All right.
The spice level is jalapeno. It is a slow burn for sure, but it was a pleasant little love story, and I think things happened in the order in which they needed to, and it felt historically accurate and realistic. Things I loved, I appreciated Poppy's ability to upcycle a dress that kept getting trashed. I mean, she only had so many clothes that she brought with her, and her clothes kept getting all jacked up from running around the coast solving a murder mystery, but Poppy was creative and resourceful and making it look like she'd brought more than one dress with her by, like, having them dyed or putting ribbons and lace and accoutrements on them. And so I thought that was pretty resourceful of her. And I typically don't like a slow burn or a mystery, as you know, but this was truly a fun romp. And as I said before, I feel like things happened in the right timeline. So I feel like the sex hit at the right time, the romance hit at the right time, and the murder mystery was just enough but not completely overpowering the book. It worked for me. Challenges? None. It was a sweet little romp.
Oh.
Yeah. Final thoughts. If you like historical romances and authors like Lisa Kleypa and Julie Garwood, I think you'll enjoy Elizabeth Cole.
Three things.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, have we been pronouncing Lisa's last name incorrectly this whole time?
Probably. I think I pronounce everybody's names incorrectly all the time.
Because that's different than we've said it before. And I know that you have been learning so much more about all sorts of people and things that I'm like, I bet you we just found out we've been pronouncing that wrong the whole time. Okay.
Also, I'm having trouble breathing, so maybe I just couldn't hit that S on the end of it.
Thing number 2.
Mm-hmm.
My main female character also had to upcycle in order to put together a dress, and she took the very expensive coat of one of her captors and just completely pulled the whole thing apart and used all the pieces to create like a bodice for her dress. He was very displeased, but I think you would have appreciated that.
Yeah.
And third, I love the fact that you didn't have any challenges in your book, because mine was nothing but challenges.
Well, let's hear about yours, Megan.
Okay, guys, buckle up. Nicole and I have said in previous episodes, we're not really doing trigger warnings anymore. I had an exception a few episodes ago where I let you know that if you had issues with sexual assault, that you might want to tune out. That's coming back today. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah. If that's a sensitive subject for you, I love you very much. Skip it. We don't need to dwell on this one for you, and I will see you on the next episode. But yeah, just know that I care about you. So let's get into Sea of Ruin by Pam Godwin.
Which we really thought the cover was quite lovely.
It is. It's still beautiful. I still think the cover is beautiful. This book was published in 2020. The premise is that we have Bennett Sharp. She is the daughter of a society woman and a pirate. She lives in Charleston, South Carolina in the very beginning. Her mother is trying to marry her off to a rich socialite man in order to try and get some money, keep her part of the family afloat, because her father's technically not in the picture, obviously, so there's not a lot of money. Something happens that basically has the whole thing fall apart, and Bennett runs off to sea and becomes a pirate like her father before her. We follow Bennett into the future, and the trifecta love affair that's going on here are two main male characters. We've got Priest Farrell and Lord Ashley Cutler. Priest Farrell is another pirate. You find out fairly early in the book that Priest and Bennett are actually married. Nobody else really knows that. It's kind of on the down low. There's maybe two other people who know about this marriage. And then Lord Ashley Cutler is a pirate hunter who's coming after Bennett and trying to capture her and her ship. That's kind of all you need to know about the premise, in my opinion.
I mean, I have some questions about how she ended up being married to Bennett, Bennett ended up being married to the other pirate guy.
I don't think it matters. Do you remember back during Laura by Bertrice Small, when I said I did not care about Laura? I thought I was supposed to care about Laura. And that's also how I felt in that Barbara Cartland that I read, which was, that character's name was Lorena, where again, I think I was supposed to care about Lorena. I didn't. That's how I feel about Bennett, if that makes any sense. I don't care. She was written in such a way that it was too much, not like other girls, perfectly beautiful with what we used to think of as, specific beauty. Like every man wants her and she's just every person's dream. And for some reason, she's also the most powerful woman anybody's ever met. It's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't really find out a whole lot about Bennett and Priest's early relationship, except that like when they first met, they were just super attracted to each other because he was just super hot and she was super hot. And then they just couldn't keep their hands off each other and just fucked all the time. That's like, that's like what you know. Okay.
Okay. Such a sigh, Meghan.
I know. The important thing to understand here and know about this is Bennett has been running from Priest, her husband, for 2 years because he broke her heart. She found a letter in his pocket from another woman talking about the relationship that Priest and this other woman were having, the physical, romantic, how much they loved each other. So she found this letter. She confronted him about it. He did not deny it. He was like, I don't know what to say because I love you. I love her.
Oh,
he didn't say it really in so many words. It was kind of implied that he just looked ashamed and he was trying to say, I love you. I promise I do. But this other person is very important to me as well. So she could not handle that and she just took off, right?
Okay.
And he has been pursuing her ever since. In the midst of all this, she now gets captured by Lord Ashley Cutler, who is the Englishman. I'm saying Englishman. I think he might have been Welsh. Let me just talk about the problematic shit in this book, okay? There's so much.
Where does one begin?
Yeah. Bennett is trying to explain to one of the men about when she lost her virginity. And she says, I gave him my maidenhood. He was gentleman about it. Waited until I was 16 before he stripped me from stem to stern and made me bleed. I was like, oh, that's nice. I guess I know what I'm in for here. Some of the acts perpetrated by one of the MMCs against Bennett. Physical torture, such as stripping her naked, tying her up, and hanging her over the side of a ship for hours to make her more malleable.
Oh, like keel hauling her.
Mm-hmm. Physical violence, spankings so hard that she needed wound care, not spankings she had asked for, not a sexy type of thing. I didn't register until his fist crashed into my jaw. Nothing made my blood sing like a man who wasn't afraid to fight a woman. Cool.
Yeah.
He slammed his palm between my legs with an unholy force. Pain exploded, and I cried out soundlessly, gulping and flinching through stunned spasm. He hit me over and over, bending into each blow and targeting my clitoris. This was not a sexy spank. This was him punishing her for being mouthy, and they do not have a sexual relationship at this point at all. He's just abusing her. And then it basically says that the spanking turns him on, and it also alludes to the fact he would spank his crew like this as well for punishment. So like he's violently possibly spanking his crew members' crotches. I'm not real sure, but it did sound like that was possibly.
Is this the pirate or the lord?
I'm not letting you know. That's why I just keep saying one of the MMCs.
Okay.
Which is how I'm going to refer to all of this from here on out. This MMC also, after having a confrontation with Bennett, and she tries to protest about something, grabs her jaw super tightly, gets real close to her face, and then says, "Don't ever tell me no." Cool. Again.
No means no, motherfucker.
But don't worry, Bennett's impression of this was he didn't want to be so cruel. She could just like feel his emotions underneath that. Like he was just acting out because like he didn't want to be that way.
Okay.
Okay. Nicole?
Yes, ma'am.
I would like some clarifications on what is considered rape.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Is physically assaulting and inserting something into a person's body without their consent considered rape if it is not a penis that is inserted?
See, I have looked this up before, and I think they call it something else, like sexual assault with an object or something. I don't think it's actually technically rape. I mean, I have thoughts and feelings about it, but I think technically, criminally, the legal terminology is sexual assault with an object.
Criminally, if I used a different part of my body and not an object.
Oh, God.
Let's just put that out there, okay? How about semi-consent? Like, she's totally into wanting to be with you, but at the last moment, instead of screwing her the way, you thought you were going to, you decide to sodomize her, and she says no, no, and no, but you just keep going and tell her to take it. I would believe that even though she was there willingly, that still counts.
That's definitely rape. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's take those two definitions and move forward. Bennett has 2 instances of attempted rape, and she has 3 separate instances. I shouldn't say instances, 3 separate men who actually rape her in this book. One of the rapists basically kidnaps her and then assaults her multiple times over an extended period. After she gets rescued, Bennett then tells one of the MMCs to fuck every torment out of her mind and soul until he's all that's left. And I'm thinking, if I just spent 2.5 to 3 weeks being physically assaulted every day, multiple times a day, my first thought wouldn't be, you know what I should do? Have somebody screw me. That'll make me feel better. Another one of these rapes is perpetuated by one of our MMCs.
Ugh. I have so much ick right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry you had to read that.
Mm-hmm. Mercy God. He pushed past the ring of muscle, groaning low in his chest, fingers bruising vice on my hips. Let me in deeper. Be still while I use you. Yeah. In order to stop one of these potential rapes in the future, one of the MMCs tries to convince the attacker that he doesn't have to rape Bennett, and instead, quote, "You like a little fight in your women? Some fearful virginal resistance? You'll find that with any number of the daughters on the island. You don't have to rape this one. There's a whole bunch of other chicks you can rape on the island. Go do that." Then there were some same-sex trysts, and it was described that the sex was never planned and it wasn't the desired outcome. It was just the primal result of fight and anger. And quote, "Whenever I take him to the ground and bury myself in him, he fights it. Christ almighty, he loves to fight me." I felt like reading this was like reading the Bertrice Small book or what was my other author?
Oh,
Kathleen
fuck.
Woody-Wiss.
Yes, the Woody-Wiss.
This is a 2020 novel written with modern sensibilities. That's not even the right word, but from the perspective of a person who never grew with the genre. You know what I mean? Like, we talk about how like our modern authors seem to have grown up with these older, antiquated, terrible, gaslighting, violent sex ideas. And then they've grown into, if the sex is violent, we talk about consent, we talk about safe words, we talk about the communication, or it's healthy, just everyday relationship kind of stuff and people having flaws. This just felt like an old book, but written today, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. And I'm going to say, I read a lot of dark romance and pitch black romance. And I think some key differences are, for example, Caged Bird, which I recently did the audiobook for. The girl is basically being held hostage by her spouse, and he rapes her and stuff, but it's very clear that it's non-consensual and it's not okay, and the guy's a bastard and we want him dead and he's a villain. Like, that is clear. And I personally don't love rape being used as a trope. However, I also understand sexual assault and SA happens. And for a lot of people in the dark romance community, they like the dark romance because to them it's a healing mechanism to see the villains get what's coming to them and see the FMC survive. And so I get that. I totally do. I think in this case with your book, we're talking about something very different. We're not talking about clearly this person is wrong and they get theirs and whatever, although that could be the case in the book. But I also feel like based on what you're sharing with me, it's glorifying what's happening.
I think obviously other people might come away from this book with a totally different perspective. We all interpret things differently. My interpretation of some of the actions happening in this book was just, it was completely unacceptable because it felt like obviously the communication wasn't there. Like in Bennett's head, if she's like, oh, he's so sexy and I love what he's doing. You didn't say that. You didn't tell him this is what you wanted.
Right. There's a difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did not love that. We'll just leave it at that. I would not recommend this book because it was 455 pages long. It took me so long to get through.
I know. I kept checking in on you and you're like, I'm still reading.
I kept falling asleep because I was so angry that I would just close my eyes and need to breathe. And then the next thing I knew, I would be waking up and I'm like, I'm still not done with this book.
Yeah.
The writing's not bad. It's not the writing. I was not happy with the story. I didn't love a lot of the premise. That is what I have to say about that. That being said, I'm going to totally mangle this last name and I apologize. Audrey Goldberg Rolfe.
Okay.
This book is called Vengefully Matched, and we were sent this book to the P.O. box.
Oh, yeah.
So I would like to first say thank you to Audrey for this, because this has been my palate cleanser.
Oh, and yay!
Yeah, I'm in the middle of this. I'm currently on page 86, and I'm trying not to highlight it, but I don't know if you can see all my little dog ears.
Yes,
so I've got plenty of little dog ears in here for things that interested me or made me giggle. And so I would just like to say thank you to Audrey for having this sent to us. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying this thoroughly, and I appreciate having something fun and lighthearted. You know, one of these days I'll finally write a little blog post about all the fun, lighthearted things I've been reading, because I keep saying I'm going to, and then I don't, because I just get really into them and then forget. So anyway, thank you for this. Eventually matched.
That's a fun cover.
Isn't that pretty? Yeah, this is I don't know yet because we haven't gotten together, but my assumption is this is enemies to lovers trope. So we're going with that. We've got Priscilla Hart and Agatha Vanderbilt Voisin. It's a witchy world, and they're both on kind of like a common witchy council, and there's a mystery happening, and we don't know exactly what, and there's already been a couple like explosions.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Great. So, hey guys, read this. Read this instead. Anyway, so back to this.
What would you rate it on the spice scale? Yeah, Meghan.
Yeah, I'm giving it Carolina Reaper.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm giving it Carolina Reaper because four characters at least end up dead, but two specifically end up dead related to possible sex acts they were attempting to make. So I'm going to go with Carolina Reaper on that one because I usually reserve that for someone ending up dead. Nicole's giving me a look. Yeah. How about Booby Prize? Do you got one of those?
Indeed, Meghan.
Do you?
I have a feeling you have probably won this episode, though.
Well, I have page 3.
Oh, motherfucker! Well, give me your page 3 quote, Meghan.
The deep, square-cut bosom accentuated my lack of breasts and bony shoulders. Page 3.
Okay. I'm visualizing, as I do.
Uh-huh.
Page 182.
Yeesh.
Quote, that was how she came undone that time, stretching her arms up as her back pressed against his chest, his right hand pleasuring her core, while his left hand teased her breast.
Yep, I win that one, but you win for the best book of the episode.
Which isn't an award we give, but sure.
Again, I don't want to say that it was Pam Godwin's writing. I didn't mind the writing style at all. And a lot of times when I have a problem with a book, it's because I don't like the writing. So that was not my issue. It just was not the story for me. So,
well, how about smells? Were there any smells and scents in your book?
You know, when I was going through and looking at all my highlighting, none of these seemed to be smells. I'm sure there were. I was too angry to really clock that. So I got nothing for you.
I was not angry. I just poured through Poppy and the Pirate and did not pay attention to smells. Were there some? Probably.
You and I were so much better with food. We just breeze past the smells. Like, we don't even register them.
Yeah, we're going to have to figure out something new for 2027. So, dear fans and listeners, please tell us what the theme should be for next year. You know, last year we covered romantic reminders. We kind of left that behind this year, unless we've felt something was, hitting that in that regard. And then last year we did food. And then this year we're doing scents. And half the time Meghan and I are like, was there a smell? Sure. Do we remember?
Nah.
Or it's the same shit. It's like, she smelled floral and feminine, and he smelled like linen and soap and musk and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yep.
So I apologize to dearest Elizabeth Cole, the author of Poppy and the Pirate. I didn't notice any smells.
I think the most unique scent that I've had this year was for my novel Highest Point, because they were mountain climbing and there was a lot of smell of Ben Gay. I was sweating Ben Gay.
Yeah.
Coming up next time around, girly.
Oh, Meghan.
What do you got?
I present to you
The
Pirate by Fabio. Now, Meghan, Meghan, you know I love an interior hidden extra cover or a second cover.
Mhm.
Brace yourself for this, Bessie.
Oh boy.
So, when you first open the cover, there's a little note from Fabio. For you alone, comma, Fabio.
Oh.
And then, when you open it up... Meghan, do you want to describe for our podcast listeners what we're seeing?
Okay, first of all, I snorted and then threw my hand over my mouth and closed my eyes because this is not a thing Meghan enjoys looking at. This is what I can only presume is naked Fabio. I don't think there's any shorts on that man, but he's like stomach down in the sand and waves, like trying to maybe sexy creep towards you out of the ocean, like he just came from the spray of his father's brain, like an old Greek god.
Meghan, is he in the mane of spume?
I think he is in the mane of spume. Yeah, he has sprang forth from the foam. It is very truly not at all what I like. So.
Okay, I know Fabio had his heyday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's also got Viking, which I also have in my TBR pile. And I'm sure he wrote some other little romps or co-wrote them, whatever. But he was a cover model back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Us Gen Xers and beyond can remember this. Perhaps some Zennials and Millennials can too. He never did it for me, personally, but I know he had a loyal fan following because he appeared in such lovely commercials, such as, I can't believe it's not butter. And as I told you, Meghan, my husband has decided to play a little game called Sexing Up the Margarine, where I will be sitting down at the breakfast table where I like to view out into my jungle of a yard that is really needing to be weeded, but I like to type there, have the cat in front of me, and I like to hang out there, and then Bob will come by and he'll brush the hair back, playfully touch the neck, and then he'll whisper close, I can't believe it's not butter. Spray. And I fucking hate it, and I want to smack my own husband.
Yeah, well, if my book taught us anything, violence is not the answer. So,
I know, and I'm not condoning domestic violence at all. I'm just saying the man needs to fucking stop. It's I'm all here for the brush behind the hair and the neck, because that's super sexy and hot. The feathery touch, I don't like that. So I'm already when he does it. And then the whisper by my ear about the margarine, I'm just fucking stop, dude.
Yeah.
But it's Bob. I would expect nothing fucking less. Anyway, back to this shit. Let me read you the back.
Yep. Bring it.
My lurve. No, I'm kidding. My love. They call me privateer, cold, ruthless, brazen, and bold. Yet, from the first moment I saw you, I was overcome. You were but a helpless child. Okay. Stop.
I'm sorry. It was involuntary. I wrinkled my nose and I couldn't put it back down.
You were but a helpless child, orphaned and innocent, when I rescued you from almost certain defilement and death, and whisked you off to my Caribbean island hideaway to be shockingly pampered by my loyal crew. And now you are a woman, as beautiful as the dawn, and as wildly unpredictable as the winds and the sea. You are in my blood, cara mia. Your breathtaking loveliness haunts my dreams, but to have you, first I must tame you, to awaken you to the dangerous ecstasy of a pirate's passion and a lover's touch.
Yuck.
Okay.
Have fun.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm going to tell you, not to spoil for the next episode. Here's the thing. I'm only this far in the book, but Meghan, already, I can't believe I'm saying this. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be based on the back cover.
Okay. Well, I'll take that as a win already.
I'm just saying, I never thought I was going to say this, but so far, and again, I'm only mildly into this book. So far, I am not ragey. That's saying something.
That is saying something.
What have you got for next episode, Megan? Please tell me it's better than what you had this episode.
I hope so, but I didn't even start it yet. Because instead, I decided to read Vengefully Unmatched.
Sure.
So
I think you needed that palate cleanser, so that's fair.
Absolutely needed that. I have me a Katie Robert. So at least I know the writing's going to be good. So I have Katie Robert. I've got Hunt on Dark Water. Is it Water or Waters? I've got a sticker over the front. Waters. Hunt on Dark Waters by Katie Robert. A stern captain meets his witchy match in this captivating first fantasy romance novel in the Crimson Sails series. Evelyn is a witch with a perfect storm of impulses, terrible taste in bed partners, sticky fingers, and a lust for danger. After she steals from her vampire ex and falls through a portal to another realm, she's fished out of the water by a band of seafarers and their telekinetic captain. She's immediately given a choice: join their ship's crew or die. Bowen has no memory of his life before he became one of the Cunanun. He and his band of pirates are bound by a vow to patrol through Threshold, the magical sea between realms, keeping the portals to the other worlds safe. When he rescues Evelyn, he doesn't expect to be attracted to the unflappably brassy pickpocket. The longer he spends in her presence, the more he begins to question if his heart is the next thing she'll steal. But as tension heats up between Bowen and Evelyn, the danger at sea escalates as well, because Evelyn has no intention of keeping her vows to the Cunanun, and if she betrays the crew, both she and Bowen will pay the ultimate price.
A lot of paranormal vibes up in there.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on here. So, let's give it a go. All right, one last sip and then let's get ourselves out of here. Thank you for joining us today for Romance on the Rocks. Please like, subscribe, and follow. And if you are a hopelessly romantic bookish biddy like us, think about giving us a review on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you are catching your podcasts. Until next time, just know that your support really means the world to us. Stay safe and know that you